Welcome all. Actually, it's been quite a week for me. Quite a week. Trying to work out doing the bloody. I don't know why I did it. I accepted a job and I start at 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 days a week. And you can imagine trying to fit training and doing videos all into doing a five. I mean, training alone, you go up at 4 o'clock to do a 5 o'clock shift 4 times a week. You can only imagine what Garmin is telling me when I start the run. Oh, you're too tired. You shouldn't be doing this. Poor recovery. You should think about resting more. Right. Okay. Now let's just get rid of that because that shouldn't be on. We'll get rid of that one. Transition that. Sorry about that. You can see how I get certain things that I don't want on here. Look, at least this time, guys, it's actually working. I mean, it. God forbid it's not been working for so long. It's like, oh God, I really want this software to work. But yeah, it's been an interesting week. I'll tell you for why. It's because I've got over some of the issues of not taking enough water, and it's my own fault. I tell everybody else to do it and make sure you're doing it, and all my videos say you should make sure you're taking enough water. But I find that when I make the water up, I put the tablet in it, I put it on the side. Excuse the cough, and then I go out the door and I think, oh, I can't be bothered to I go in for my bag and I'll go in for to get the water. And no, come on, let's just go. And I know I shouldn't do it, and you start feeling a bit lightheaded. You think, oh, your own fault. You have to slow down and have a stop, have a rest, and not what you should be doing. So I've got over the issues of the trying to sort of slow down to make sure my head doesn't go funny. But we all have little issues when you get older, and that's probably the issue, isn't it? You know that somewhere along the line you're going to start feeling a bit queasy or a bit aching muscles. Let's go back then to we've just done a run and it's Friday. It's Thursday, Wednesday. So Monday we had an easy run, a nice easy run. 50 minutes. Well, I did 53 and a half. 9.9 minutes 10 to 10 minutes 10. 5.33 miles. And realistically, it was reasonably easy. I mean, how did I score it? I can't even remember how I scored it, to be honest, guys. 97% accuracy. I scored it as really light effort, 2 out of 10, and I was feeling really strong. So I was quite happy about that. Could have gone on quite a bit longer, and this is what sort of came back to me later on. But I think the best thing was that the charts and my running, the pace was a little bit erratic. I mean, I'm still not getting it constant, which is the thing that Garmin's training tries to do. Is it tries to get you to know a speed without actually looking at your watch, and just place it there and keep it there. Which sort of goes into one of my moans and complaints in a minute. So do remember that. It's trying to get you to not look at the watch and think, yeah, I can look at it occasionally, but I should be able to, by now, be able to just trundle along, in this case at 9 minutes 30 per mile, without being too sort of fluctuating. And quite often I can. But I've added a few hills. I've added a couple of hills, and it's quite difficult to keep it spot on when you do that. So it's been an interesting thing. I tried to change that course a little bit, like I keep telling you, and it's really interesting when you do it. But Garmin's training is trying to get you to know exactly, or me, that 9:10 to 10:10 pace for an easy run. It's trying to get me to do 9:30 spot on and not fluctuate too much. But by adding a couple of hills in, that's made it quite difficult. But 97% accuracy, really good. And then we went on to speed repeats on Tuesday. Now I did 46% accuracy on this, and 46% is not, it's average according to that. But you've got to remember I did about 25% last time because I just couldn't seem to get that. It's a very small gap that you're trying to hit. That's the problem. And if I just tap it and go sideways, so you're doing 6 lots at about 7 minutes 5, and then 6 lots at 6 minutes 5. And you're supposed to be you do one for one's about a minute long, and the others are about 30 seconds long. And you see, actually, we are hitting that pretty. If I'm backwards, obviously, so it's a bit difficult. But yeah, we're pretty much spot on. The faster ones, I was actually doing a little bit too quick at the beginning, then trying to slow down, or the last couple it was too slow, and then trying to speed up. And this is where I get to what I've just been saying. It's easy to look at this and think, yeah, but Garmin wants you to be able to just hit 7 minutes per mile for a minute, and then in the next 6, it wants you to just know where 6 minutes per mile is for 30 seconds. My issue was today, for instance, that, and we'll go on from Tuesdays down to Wednesdays for the long run, was that I was doing a goal pace run today for 8 minutes per mile, and it's 8 minutes and 6 to 8 minutes 15, I think it is. So it's very tight band to hit. But then you're trying to hit this tight band, and Garmin kept saying, "Oh, you're running too fast." And there's one I stopped. I thought, right, okay, I've got 5 minutes to run this. Right, stop. 30 seconds later, the Garmin watch was still saying, "You're running too fast." And I'm thinking, no, I'm not. I'm stationary. I'm standing still. So, right, okay, we'll do what Garmin training wants me to do. We'll just try and do an 8 minute mile pace, because I think I've just about got it in my head now. I'm running on a field, so it shouldn't be too difficult. So I set off, and within about 30 seconds, looking at my watch, "You're running too slow." And it had jammed again. It had jammed on you're going too fast. Then Garmin 255 says you're going too slow, and again it stuck there for about 2 or 3 minutes. And it wasn't till after the 5 minute run that it eventually suddenly flicked back and said, "Oh, right, your average pace was almost spot on, right in the middle." But it doesn't help when you're trying to run, when it's telling you to run. Well, in this case, on Tuesday, the speed repeats, which are like 1 minute, and then the next 6 are 30 seconds long. If it jams on too quick and it's going to take 2 or 3 minutes to reset, or it jams on too slow and it's going to take 2 or 3 minutes, if it's only a 30-second sprint, you haven't got a hope in hell of getting it right. It's impossible, because Garmin's set it to be averaging the speed out over such a long period that you can't use your watch. You can't. So Garmin's given you a training plan, and they've told you to use your watch. But on these training runs where you're doing repeats, or you're doing like 6 lots of a minute, or even the 6 lots of even the 2 lots of 5 minute. I don't know how many we did today. We'll get to it in a minute. The goal pace repeats. I did 2 lots of 5 and 15, one 15 and 1 5 minute run at 8 minutes. The 5 minute one you can't actually hit, because if you set off too quick, it's going to take a couple of minutes for it to reset, and by which time you've probably slowed down to try and make the watch reset itself, and then you're going too slow. So it's a little bit difficult. But like I said just then, it's trying to make you do it without the watch. The actual training itself is supposed to be, it looks like it's more akin to, look, I want you to do in this second extended bit of the goal pace run, for instance, which is 5 minutes at 8 minutes and 6 seconds per mile, give or take 7 seconds. It's wanting you to be able to go out there and keep 8 minutes and 6 to 8 minutes 15 and actually be able to do that without looking at the watch. And in a way, it's a good point. It's a good idea, because you bloody can't use the watch. It's now. You can't do it. It's impossible. Now, I see why they do it. I do see why they're doing it, because if they averaged it out over like 4 or 5 seconds, it's going to be up and down so fast as if you want somebody who can't keep your speed dead on, it's going to be jumping up and down like a yo-yo. You're not going to know what on earth you're doing. So it is a good point. And then you've got the obviously the inaccuracies of the GPS that would suddenly start playing with it, and it's going up and down. So it is a good idea that it's over a longer period. Have they got the right period? I doubt it. It sticks for too long for me. It is a bugbear of mine, that it's so long. I can see why it's long, but why it's that long, that is a gripe to me. So we did our speed repeats on Tuesday, and then it went back to a long set. Now this is interesting, because I know people are coming in and out, and hopefully people do listen to this bit, because this bit's actually really important. So we've been doing long runs, and we're on about week 6 now of 15. So we're well into it, and my long run supposed to be between 9 minutes 10 and 10 minutes 10. I did an average pace of 9 minutes 19, and of course that includes the warm up and the cool down. And then what I did after that was I actually did extra to cool down, to take it a lot longer, a lot further. So I had my own cool down period, but to do that over, we did 11.5 miles, which at 9 minutes 19, and I actually got back. I finished the last half a mile between. I thought, well, let's see how well I can do, almost like a progression run. And I can tell you here what my maximum speed was, and it was all in the end. So 9 minutes 19, 140 beats a minute average for my heart, which is actually really good. The maximum was only 159, which and you can see the speed was almost spot on all the way, but at the end it peaks, and 6 minutes 15 per mile I was doing right at the end, with probably an average of about 7 minutes 15. And I scored it down here. What did I score it? Cadence was good. Average cadence was about 170, so that wasn't too bad. But yeah, I scored it at. That's the wrong page. Oh, it isn't. I scored it at really easy and like a 2 out of 10 because I just found it so easy. Or 3 out of 10 I scored it, and I felt really strong, very strong. 90% accuracy. And the other 10% was I was going too quick. But I felt so good. I mean, for the first time I've done 11.5 miles, felt extremely good, very confident, very strong. I wouldn't have been able to do that a couple of weeks ago. I really wouldn't. At the beginning of this training run, I would not have done 11.5 miles. Finished it on just over 9 minutes per mile, and still felt really, really strong. I would have been saying, yeah, I started off really strong, but yeah, it was a bit stressful to try and keep it up. So is this training working? Absolutely. If I use the long easy run, as an example, that actually did make a lot of sense. Yeah, the fact that I could sprint, I tried it just to see what I could do in the last. It was actually the last half a mile. But yeah, to do 6 minutes, just over 6 minutes per mile in that last, after you've run 11 miles, and do the last half a mile as a sort of sprint at 6 minutes per mile was like, this is me. This is ridiculous for me. I'm not used to being able to do 11.5 miles and sprint like that at the end of it. I tried it at the last half marathon I did in November, and this 70-year-old just burst straight past me. Come on, he disappeared into the bloody distance, and now you carry on, mate. I'll see you at the finishing line. But here it was like, for the first time since certainly in these 6 weeks of training, it has worked. I would absolutely not be doing it 11.5 miles at 9 minutes 19 per mile and sprinting that last half a mile. It's absolutely ridiculous to even think about. Yesterday we did another easy run. Now, after you've done a long run, to do another easy run, the body's still a little bit tired. Tried to take all the energy I could. 90%, 98% accuracy. It's pretty. I find it easy to stay between that range now. It's just a case of trying to see where your heart rate is. And this is something I mentioned, and this is another important thing. If anybody starts listening to this, I don't know what you've if anybody is actually still here, because it doesn't always show who's in. It quite often says 0 viewers, like it is now. And somebody's just disappeared. Perhaps they've stayed on and it's not showing it. But I did the warm-up to this, 15-minute warm-up, and I've done it a couple of times now. And in the warm-up, I've been doing 9.5 minutes per mile, 9 minutes 30 seconds per mile. And I've been well under the top end of zone 2 heart rate, which to me is quite good, because I'm one of these that's always, for years, I've been like, I just can't get that zone 2. It's been a little bit of a trot, a bit of a fast walk, a bit of a trot, a little bit of a fast walk, and for the first time, by lifting the knee, making sure I was lifting the knee, making sure I'm getting a good posture, and the other thing is talking. Absolutely, I can't believe it. I physically talked. Even if I was whispering to myself, I was talking, and it controlled my breathing. It helped me to have a nice long out breath, making sure I'm totally breathing out, and it helped me to breathe in more deeply. So whether that works for everybody, I don't know, but for me, I was breathing out, talking. Actually, even if I was whispering, I was saying something, and then I suddenly found I was doing, no kidding, 9 minutes 30 per mile, and I wasn't even at the top end of zone 2. I was beats under it, to a point where I'm thinking, wow, that's amazing. So it doesn't work on the cool down. I noticed it only works on the warm up. It doesn't work on the cool down. On the cool down, your heart rate's just coming down from being quite rapid. And I think when you start to do a 9.5 minute mile, then your heart rate, your brain, it's as if your brain's still thinking, is he about to start yet? Is he about to, let's just keep it on the high side. And yeah, I can't get that bit yet, but certainly the warm up from scratch, my brain seems to have realised that no, until he gets over this 9.5 minutes per mile, then we'll start to think about increasing the heart rate. I didn't talk to myself this morning, this just now in the warm up, and it went straight to about 6-7 beats over the maximum for heart rate zone 2. So talking does seem to work for me, but it works because it helps me. I know it's working because it's helping me do the breathing properly. So whether it works for you, I mean, I'd love to hear from you now. It does actually physically talking for you. Does it help you breathe better and reduce your heart rate? Because I found yesterday doing that warm up at 9 minutes 30 per mile for 15 minutes and being slap bang in the middle of zone 2, I was like astonished. And the only difference was I was talking. I was actually either whispering to myself or talking to myself, and the heart rate just wouldn't budge. It was there at it fluctuated a little bit, but it wasn't like zooming straight out of the zone 2. So I don't know whether you've seen anything like that, but that was new to me, and it's the first time I've done 9.5 minute miles and stayed slap bang in the middle of zone 2. I was quite impressed, and like I said, that the only thing I can put that down to personally on that particular run on that day was talking to myself. So however stupid it looks, and I must have looked like complete probably did. People looking at it, okay, he's lost it. But I'm not complaining. It worked a treat. And yeah, I had 98% accuracy, and I finished feeling really strong. And it was a bit harder than the 11.5 miles I'd done the day before, which I found really easy. But there again, that's it. I'd done 11.5 miles the day before, and they're asking you to go out and do another easy run for what was it, about 5.5 miles. So really good. I enjoyed it. And we've just done the goal pace run, which is one of those runs that I dread doing, because I know that I need to be doing this, and I know I need to be doing it over a hell of a lot longer distance. I mean, the intervals were 15-minute warm-up, 20 minutes, and then 10 minutes, so 30 minutes at goal pace. And I managed to get, I think it was not that great, to be quite honest. 6 miles I did, all in all. A walk for the cool down, 45, just under 50%. So half of the time. So not as good as what I wanted to. I wanted to be sort of high 50s. I didn't think I'd get to 63, which is sort of getting on. That's where you get to high on green instead of an orange average. So I got an average, which is reasonable, but 6 mile, just over 6.06 miles. The actual intervals were supposed to be about 8 minutes and 6. I did 8 minutes and 12, and that second one just took its toll. Most of it was about 8 minutes and 15, but it was actually quite difficult to keep up with that. It was petering towards the 8:30s and 8:40s. So not as good as what I wanted to do on the on the goal pace repeats. I think we'll have to do some more goal pace. It's we're on week 6. It tends to repeat these every 2 weeks, so I'm only going to have another couple of these left, and I just don't feel that I'm doing well on the others, but this one I'm not doing really very well on. I can do sprints in short distances, but that's what I said when you first start these training runs. They ask you, are you a sprinter or are you a long distance runner? And I'm a sprinter. I actually had the 400 meter record for the club that I ran with up north, and it doesn't exist anymore. So I will always be the record holder for the club because it doesn't exist anymore. And I think that getting the actual 8 minutes 6 for the whole distance at the minute looks a bit daunting, especially seeing as I could only get just under 50% on there, and the rest of it wasn't just because I was going faster and slower, it was because I was doing slower. So that we do have to look at. The rest of the week really good. I found that the most amazing thing I found was that long run, 11 and a half miles at 9 minutes 19, and that includes a bit of a slow part for the that I did a bit of a cool down, so where I walked and tried to get into zone 2. So technically I was probably nearer to 9 minutes and 10, which feeling as good as I did was quite good. So thank you if you do watch it. I would really love you to like and subscribe. Certainly like, even if you don't subscribe, if you can like it, then that does help the channel. And I would certainly like to know what you think about the heart rate thing. Does talking help you? Does talking actually help you lower that heart rate while you're running? Because it seems to me that it helped lower my heart rate via breathing better, because you're taking time to breathe out while you're talking, and then you're making sure you breathe in nice and deeply so you can have another quick chat, and it seems to work. Looks stupid, but hell, I don't care how stupid I look. If it helps me run quicker and have a lower heart rate, I'll go for that any day. But thank you for listening. Thank you for replaying it. And we've had a few people in. Next time, do try commenting. I love a bit of a chat while I'm doing it. Tell me what you want to hear, and I'll try and include it next time. Thank you, and it's see